Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, online brother Jaspas, and welcome back to the vlog. Today we're going to be talking about a question that I get very often. Today we're going to be talking about how did online brother, this middle-aged man, not middle-aged man, let's just call me a young adult online brother, get to know about cardistry. Alright, so that's a question I've been getting a lot in my DMs, my comment section, and you know, on public platforms like that. And I decided, like, instead of repeating the story over and over, let me just tell it to you guys all at one shot. This way it would make it much easier for me and for you guys to get the information that you want. My journey began when I was in secondary school. That's middle school for you guys in America, I guess. That's the time when you are at the age of 13 years old. When I was 13 years old, I went to this school called Temasek Secondary School, which is a school in Singapore. Not very difficult to get in. It's not an elite school by any means. It's a middle range school. So I got in there and I went to my class and I got to know this whole class of people. One of the people that I met in this class was a guy called Kevin Ho. Kevin Ho is a weird character, you know, he's a little bit eccentric, he speaks his mind, he shares information freely. He's, all in all, even though he's a little bit weird, he's also a very nice guy. So Kevin and I became good friends about half a year into school. We became friends based on this game called Raw. SmackDown? I can't remember. It's basically this card game that the WWE, at that point of time, I think it was still the WWF, they put out this card game so that fans of the WWE and card games can, you know, pay the WWE a little bit more money to have more fun, right? Kevin and I both became interested in this game. We played the card game very frequently in school. Among our friends, there was this guy called Ping Sheng, whose initials are BS. So we called him Big Show a little bit. Needless to say, WWE was an important part of our lives at that point of time. From then, Kevin and I became closer friends. One of the things that we used to talk about was dance. That's right, both of us, we were sort of moderately interested in dance. And I distinctively remember going to one of the most hidden areas in school. I think it was the 4th floor or the 3rd floor, one of the top floors of school, and heading over to this slightly open area right beside the music club, in which there's like, I think, one bench in the front near a window and one bench further in. This area had concrete flooring, it was cool, the wind came through. Kevin and I spent quite a little bit of time there. One of the things we were doing is we were trying to learn the dance moves that we saw on TV. Whether it was the cool ones like Michael Jackson's moonwalk or, you know, the worm. We were both learning that. And because of that, we sort of got interested in breakdancing. At a similar timing, on one of the weekends, I headed over to my grandparents' place where my extended family would meet up and we would just hang out. You know, it's kind of an Asian thing to just spend a weekend together. At that point of time, I had an older cousin. His name, I'll call him Jay, alright? Jay was a much older cousin than I am, same generation child as I am, and he was therefore, you know, more knowing of what's going on in the world. At that point of time, he actually learned one of those magic tricks. Hell yeah. Magic? Hell yeah. So, my cousin showed me this magic trick where he turned over 26 cards and then he set them aside, then he opened 3 more cards, and through this very extensive process, he was able to name a card that was being dealt to. It was kind of cool. It's a very simple trick in which you follow a formula and then you just memorize a certain card and then you just tell it to your audience member, and just by doing that it looks like you predicted what the next card is in a deck. I think by today's standards, if your audience member is like an adult and you show them this trick, they'll be like, that's the most boring trick I've ever seen. But to me, back then as a 13-14-year-old, I was like, oh my god, my mind is blown. Holy shit. How does that even work? So I went home and I began thinking about it, and I was like, oh man, there has to be a system. I gotta figure out how this magic trick works. That weekend, I figured it out. So on the following Monday, I went to school and I said, hey Kevin, wanna see something cool? Kevin said, oh yeah, sure man. I mean, he didn't say it that way. Obviously he didn't say it that way. I was like, alright, here I have a deck of cards. A deck of 52 playing cards. Here, check this out. So I dealt, and then I did the whole tedious process. I was like, yeah. See, if we turn these cards over, 1, 2, 1, 2, deal 3 piles, count the cards down, and then this card right here, bam, it's the 4 of hearts. He was like, oh yeah, no way, and he was mind blown. I felt really good about myself. I felt like I discovered real magic. I came to the realization that this ability to just mind blow somebody was something that I was interested in. I was like, holy crap, this is real magic. I have power now. And I began to show everybody that magic trick that day. I just went from table to table like, hey man, check this trick out. I'm the shiznit. I'm gonna show you some real magic. And the day passed. The next day, something mind-blowing happened. Kevin came up to me and he was like, hey Jaspas, can I show you something? I was like, yeah, sure man. And then he pulled out a deck of cards. This is what he did. He fanned the cards out in front of me and he asked me to take one card. Then I was like, okay. I took it, I saw the card and I remembered it. He took it back from me. He rotated the card 180 degrees and then he slotted it into the deck. I was like, that's a weird thing. And then he said, do you wanna shuffle the cards? I was like, do I wanna? Hell yeah, I wanna. Give me the cards. Then I shuffled them. And I passed it back to Kevin. Kevin took the deck right in front of my face. That's right. This man, no pattern, no flourish. He just straight up went like this. This card, look at the deck. Oh yeah, nothing in my hand. And then one card came out of the deck. And it was my card. Oh, mind blowing. Mind blowing. Needless to say, that was the worst presentation card trick I've ever seen Kevin do. Ever since that day, Kevin has never done a magic trick quite as bad as that. But that day, that moment, that feeling of wonder that I felt, that led to everything else. You see, it was ever since that day that we got obsessed with magic. We were like breathing, eating, drinking magic. Every single time we met up, we talked about magic. We wanted to know like, is there something new? Is there something cool? Sometime later, a magician came around. Not one of those magicians like me or Kevin. There was this magician, the hot new thing from the Americas. His name, David Blaine. That's right, David Blaine had his street magic special on TV. And he was like doing card tricks right in front of people and showing that card tricks can be cool. Before him, there was only people like David Copperfield and Lance Burton and all these like stage magicians. But once David Blaine stepped onto the stage being the streets, he showed that magic could be performed right in front of you. He showed that magic can be real for the everyday person too. You don't have to be in a theater. Kevin and I were inspired. Kevin and I, we both went online and we began devouring, dissecting tricks that we saw on his YouTube video. We were ripping apart the videos, going frame by frame. How does he do it, Kevin? How does David Blaine levitate on the streets? He's not just going up this much, he's going up like whoa, he's flying. David Blaine's flying off the ground. Around that period of time, my younger brother also got into magic, and one of the tricks that he managed to figure out was David Blaine's most amazing card trick, the 2-card Monty. He gave you a queen of hearts, he gave you a queen of diamonds, and then he's like, which one's on top, the hearts or the diamonds? And then you're like, I don't know, I think it's hearts. And he's like, oh yeah, take a look now. Bam! 2 aces, 1 clubs, 1 spade. How did they get there? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. But my brother, my younger brother, he managed to figure it out. He saw it, he thought about it, he came up with his own handling of it. In fact, filled with this newfound knowledge of how the trick works, he tried to perform it for me. But alas, the world is cruel. You see, just because you know how a trick works doesn't mean you have the skills to pull it off. My younger brother, too new to magic, couldn't pull off the trick and flashed it in front of me. But because I now knew how the trick was done, I learned it from my younger brother. And the next day I went to school. I showed him. Kevin was blown away. My other friends were blown away. And among those other friends, there was one person in there, a man named Chao Liang. That's right, Chao Liang, even though he wasn't interested in magic or card flourishing as we used to call it back then, or dancing, he was immediately interested in it. He was like, whoa man, that's cool. And he too started devouring like magic information online. Soon, we began to feel this sense of rivalry, like, oh man, we gotta perform the best tricks. I'm gonna one-up you. Oh yeah, you learned that trick, I'm gonna learn this trick. Oh yeah, you learned this trick, I'm gonna learn this trick. And we were all like trying to one-up each other. At this point of time though, none of our skills were great. Nope. In fact, we didn't have enough information to learn magic from. But we managed to keep up with each other thanks to free tutorials on the internet. However, at this point of time, one thing changed. Chao Liang managed to convince his mother to lend him her credit card. Boom! The game breaker, the ultimate playing card. Mommy's credit card. Immediately, he went onto the internet. He went to this website, ellusionist.com, illusionist.com, a website that both Kevin and I have wanted to buy from for the longest time. But even though we have saved the money, we didn't have Mommy's credit card. Chao Liang went on there. He went on to how to do street magic. He clicked add to cart. He clicked buy, and he waited for 2 weeks as the DVD came in the mail. At this point of time, we had no idea. At this point of time, we didn't know what was coming our way. Just like how Gandalf knew nothing walking into the mines of Moria, Chao Liang one day came to school with his knowledge of the How to Do Street Magic DVD. That's right, he took out his cards and he began shuffling it differently from us. That's right. And before that, we were all shuffling the cards like riffle shuffle style, like grrrr. But Chao Liang, he started going like, what's going on with this dude? Why did his style change? Why did his skills change? Why did he level up so much? I was like, hey, Chao Liang, did you get the How to Do Street Magic DVD? Is that what's going on here? Is this? No way, no. And he was like, and I was like, could we see it? Please? Just show us a little bit. Come on, man. Just show us a little bit. We'll all be good friends and stuff. At first he said no, but after being friends for a longer and longer period of time, one day we went over to his house, and over there on the shelf was that sacred DVD, How to Do Street Magic. Kevin and I were both there. We were like, hey man, can we watch the DVD together? He was like, okay. And then we watched it. The information entered our eye sockets. I felt the power rush through my veins. And because of that, Kevin and my fate was changed forever. Unfortunately, 1 year later, all of this would change. Chao Liang gave up on magic. He was no longer interested. But that was the first big blow to our magic little community, the three of us. The second big blow came at the end of the year, at the end of secondary 2, when I was 14 years old. One day Kevin told me, hey man, I'm not gonna be studying in Temasek anymore. I was crushed. I was like, no, you can't go, Kevin. It's me and you, man. We're the magic bros. We got this. We're supposed to learn magic together. We're supposed to take on the world. You can't go. Kevin turned to me. He said, I'm sorry, Jaspas, but it looks like our fate is not meant to be. I have to go to pursue something different, to a faraway land. Jaspas, I have to go to the Singapore American School. Kevin, no! You can't go! I grabbed onto his shoulder. You can't leave me. I can't be alone. I'm sorry, man. I have to go. I have to go by the end of this year. No! Don't go! Don't leave me alone! And even though it pained him, I saw a tear come down through the corner of his eyes. He grasped onto my hand and he pushed my hand away. He walked away in slow motion. And that was the last time I saw Kevin. For about half a year. We kept in contact through MSN Messenger, sharing ideas and stuff like that. And one day, we decided to meet up. And Kevin was like, hey man, you want to meet up? We can talk a little bit about stuff and you know, do stuff and stuff. And I was like, yeah man, it's been so long. I met him. At that point of time, magic and card flourishing were very, very different things. Magic was magic, card flourishing is card flourishing. The old school magicians were like, oh man, you add card flourishing to your magic? Now your audience members are all gonna know you can do real sleight of hand. If you are a real magician, you would never do that. You would never let them know the technique behind your magic. It shouldn't look like card flourishing, it shouldn't look like you're doing anything. Instead, it should look like effortless, like nothing's happening. But when I met Kevin, he had betrayed us. He had betrayed the magicians of the universe. When I met Kevin, he showed me this thing called the Blind Rotational Sibyl by Caps Casino. He didn't do it very smoothly, but he did it up to about 90% of the smoothness. It was pretty interesting, to be fair. The cards moved like a dance in his hands. They just went go 1, 2, 3, 4. And the display, it was enchanting. But the brainwashing from the magicians, it took control of me, and I said like, that's rubbish. Why would you do that? You don't need that for magic. Rubbish. And Kevin was like, it's kind of cool. I saw it. I saw these guys called Dan and Dave and this guy called Caps Casino. You gotta see it, man. The videos are insane. I went home that day. I went onto the internet, plugged in my dial-up service thing, let the phone connect, and I connected to the internet. I went to look for this Caps Casino guy. When the video started playing, immediately I was hit with a mind-blowing thing. His video had an overlay of purple lines coming down from the top, almost like it's the Matrix. And then he was handling cards so freaking fast. And he went into this like 11 packet display or something like that. And then I went to search for Dan and Dave, and they had this beautiful white background, stylish, pair of hands coming in, no face, no clothing, and they were doing horizontal cuts. Mind blowing. My young mind. Still, I fought the urge to add card flourishing to my magic. Nah, I'm gonna be one of those pure magicians. Nah, I'm not gonna let the audience know I have any amount of skill. And then one day, out of the depths, out of a shadowy darkness, the depths of the internet, a pair of hands came in, floating into my face. A pair of hands went like this, and then it went. And then he did 2 Cobra cards. I was destroyed. My defenses, my barrier against card flourishing was destroyed. It shattered, and I was like, oh my god, this Devo guy and this XTM thing and this card flourishing thing, they're so cool. I watched a video after another video. Devo balanced a pack of cards with fire on top of it, on top of his middle finger. And then he put out fire simply by catching the cards. And then he did a 5-packet one-handed card. Oh, I was blown away. And then he showed some air elemental techniques. One card floating on a single finger, upside down like this. Oh, how does he make the card turn? I couldn't figure it out. And that was when I was hooked. That was when this beautiful art form sunk its teeth into my jugular veins, and I became poisoned, and I fell in love with the art form. It was because of Kevin's introducing me to it, and my watching Dan and Dave, Kev's Casino, and still refusing to learn it, and then finding out about this guy called Devo Voms Gathering or something like that. I've never learned how to pronounce his last name, but it's only because of that I became a cardist. At this point, I was 15 years old, and the world of card flourishing was just beginning to blossom to me. I thought it was a beautiful land of perfection. I thought it was the place where elegant men went to learn and perfect their skills. But unbeknown to me, it was also a land filled with thorny threads. It was also a land of backstabbing, betrayal, anger, frustration, and hard work. But that's the end of part 1 of this story. If you guys want to know what happens next to young Jaspas, let me know in the comment section below. I really want to know if this is the kind of content that people might like. Do you want to know more? Do you want to know what happens to young Jaspas? Let me know in the comment section below. Drop a like on the video, hit the subscribe button, hit that little bell icon beside it. Yep, that's the end of today's video. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please stay safe, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye bye.